All right, let's talk about a problem that I know drives every single AI developer crazy. You spend hours, right, crafting this absolutely brilliant, complex prompt. It works like magic, just once. And then, poof, it's gone, lost forever in a chat window. Well, today, we're going to look at a language that's designed to fix that, to turn those one-off sparks of genius into powerful, reusable tools. Let's dive into KickLang.
You know the feeling, right? You've been there. You spent all this time getting the perfect multi-step prompt, and you get this amazing result. But then what? It's just stuck. It's stuck in a chat window. It's an absolute nightmare to try and explain to a teammate. And if you want to adapt it for a new project, you're basically starting from scratch. It's powerful, yeah, but it's just so brittle.
And this is exactly where KickLang comes in. It's a language built from the ground up to solve this very problem. The whole idea is to take those messy, one-off prompts and transform them into these clean, reusable, and, intelligent pipelines. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like having a giant box of Lego bricks, but for your AI workflows. You build these small, specialized pieces that you can then just snap together in, well, basically endless combinations.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the absolute smallest building block. Then we'll see how they connect, figure out how to package them up so we can reuse them, give them a memory, and then we'll zoom all the way out to see the big picture. It's a journey from the micro to the macro.
All right, let's get our hands dirty. To really get KickLang, we've got to start with the first, most fundamental piece, that single Lego brick. So that single unit is called a role. A role is basically like a single AI actor with a super specific job description. It's one little Lego brick, designed to do one thing and do it exceptionally well. For example, you could have a storyteller role, and its entire job, its whole purpose in life, is to summarize a scene with an epic tone. That's it. Simple, focused, and really effective. Now, a single brick is useful, sure, but the real fun begins when you start snapping them together. This is where the power of KickLang really starts to show, connecting these specialized little roles to build something way bigger. So, how do we get one AI to just hand off its work to the next one?
Okay, so first up, let's grab our storyteller role again. Its job is simple. Take some kind of input and spin up an epic narrative from it.
And now, let's introduce a totally different block, a planner. Now, its job isn't to be creative. Its job is to be structural. It takes a narrative, and its only task is to plan the very next steps for a pipeline. So we have two different roles, two totally different skills.
And this is where the magic happens. We can connect them. See that arrow syntax? The into to to part, that's what's called a pipe. Think of it like a little conveyor belt. It literally takes the output from the storyteller, the thing we're calling the narrative, and pipes it directly into the planner to be its input. And just like that, you have two separate AI agents collaborating in one seamless workflow. It's awesome. So this chain we just built is incredibly useful, right? But the crucial point is that we don't want to be typing it out, or even worse, copy-pasting it every single time we need it. That defeats the whole purpose. So let's package it up into something we can actually share and reuse easily. And the process for this is incredibly straightforward. First, you just start with that raw pipeline we just built. Then you package it up by wrapping it in a module declaration, giving it a really clear name and even a version number. Finally, you just save it as a simple file inside a folder, and it's ready to be shared. That's literally it.
Now, you might be asking, so what? Why does this matter so much? Well, it's a game changer because it fundamentally changes how you work. You completely stop copy-pasting messy prompts all over the place. Instead, you build a cognitive tool one time, you give it a version so you can actually track your changes, and then you can share it across your entire team or all your projects just by importing it. You're turning a throwaway instruction into a durable versioned asset.
Okay, so our modules are reusable, which is amazing, but how do we make them smarter? I mean, a truly intelligent system needs some kind of memory. So let's look at how KickLang gives these pipelines the ability to remember things, both in the short term and even across totally different sessions.
So KickLang gives you two kinds of memory. For short-term stuff, we've got the pipes we've already seen. They're perfect for that immediate handoff of context inside a single pipeline run. But for long-term memory, KickLang uses something called a knowledge graph. You can think of it like a permanent brain for your AI, and it uses commands like link and find to access it. This is what lets a pipeline remember information across days, weeks, or even entirely different projects.
And here's how they can work together, which is really cool. This module uses the link command to save the storyteller's output, that narrative, into its long-term memory.
Then, later on, a different step in the pipeline can use find to recall some relevant memory from that brain. It then actually adds that memory to the current narrative before it plans the next step. So what you have is a pipeline that is actually learning from its own past experiences.
Now, this next part is where things get really, really interesting. This is how we move beyond just simple straight-line pipelines. We can actually make them smart by adding conditional logic, which allows them to make decisions and change what they do based on the situation.
So KickLang gives you several ways to make these pipelines truly dynamic. For example, a pipeline can check if a specific piece of info, what it calls an entity, already exists in its memory. Or it can check if that entity has a certain quality, a trait, like maybe high tension. It can even check the value that's flowing through one of those temporary pipes or count how many connections an idea has. Each one of these acts as a trigger that allows the pipeline to choose a completely different path.
And check this out, it's a brilliant example. The pipeline looks to see if a certain state exists. If it does, well, then it proceeds to a scene involving a dragon dialogue. But else, if that state doesn't exist, it dynamically reroutes itself to a totally different path, an escape route. So the pipeline isn't just blindly executing steps anymore. It's making a creative decision based on the current state of the world.
Okay, let's zoom all the way out and put all these pieces together. We've gone on a pretty incredible journey, right? From one single simple command all the way to a truly intelligent and reusable system. So let's just recap this stack we've built. We started with the individual role. That was our basic building block. We connected them into powerful chains, and then we packaged those up into reusable modules. After that, we gave those modules a long-term memory, and then finally, we layered on intelligent logic, allowing them to make their own decisions. You see? Each piece just builds on the last one to create this complete intelligence system.
And really, that brings us to the final and most important point. When you have a system that allows you to build and package and share complex AI reasoning as easily as just snapping some Lego bricks together, it just opens up a whole new world of possibilities. It stops being about these one-off magic tricks and starts being about building an entire library of cognitive tools. So the real question is, what will you create?